right. So assuming that you all are okay with that so that others can hear our delightful pre and post banter.
We'll have to behave ourselves now.
Right. So Denise, we haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I took a little vacation. We went up to Aspen and then into Telluride, which was really nice. Beautiful. I think I told Dan, I almost feel like it's like the Last Supper for me. Like he's all of a sudden he's taking me all these places and we're eating. I'm eating so much food. It's crazy. Way more than I would normally eat. And I think this is all like pre-oral surgery and pre-going back to OSU. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
so trying to get it all in, I guess.
well, and after oral surgery, you'll be somewhat restricted in what you can put through your mouth.
Right. So I guess I'm packing it on so that I have extra stuff there to get me through.
I don't know if any of you that's reminding me, I don't know if any of you follow on explore.org. That's the website that has live cameras in all kinds of wildlife areas throughout the world. Wildlife and also various care places like, for rescue dogs and kittens. And also they have the cameras for some of the eagles' nests in various places. But one of their most popular camera sites is the falls in Katmai National Park up in Alaska. That's where the bears catch the salmon that are migrating up and kind of trying to jump the falls. And of course, they've identified all the bears, named them in that area, and so on and so forth. And after, it's July and August when it's the prime salmon catching season for them, because that's when the salmon are going up to spawn. But now they are beginning the Fat Bears contest, basically to see who of the viewers can identify which bear has gained the most weight over the summer in preparation for their hibernation. And
I'm gonna have to check that out.
yeah, it's explore.org. It really is, especially during July, it's a really fun website just to watch all of these bears standing at that falls. They're not very high falls, but enough that the salmon are able to jump up maybe after several tries, and the bears, of course, get them. You know that famous, or several famous images of a salmon seeming to be jumping right into a bear's mouth. Now, that comes from that area.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not tagged and named, because
well, anyway, one needs to get one's nourishment to take one through lean times. So, Bob, how are you?
I just wanted to say that I am a big fan of, I have to read it because Bishop John Shelby Spong.
Yeah,
Oh.
me
I
too.
realized, yeah. So, John, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his, and when I told a priest friend of mine that I like him, he said, that guy, he killed our church. And I thought, okay, I thought we would say, well, we all have different ways of looking at it. That was pretty wild to say to me. Or was I
that's
wild
when
to
he
say
should
the
have
first
said
one?
no comment.
No, I'm happy to comment. Jack Spong and our friends And
Okay,
Jack was, he gave so many lectures all over the place. I was in Grand Rapids at the time, and the newspaper wanted me to give a, he was about to appear for the first time, and it wanted me to give a, an interview. And I had read nothing of his books. And so I ran to the bookstore and got 8 books that they had, read every one of them over the weekend, and was totally converted, because up to that time, I thought the guy was a heretic. I mean, he had a terrible press among the conservative clergy.
Right.
Anyway, so I was totally converted. I mean, it was unbelievable stuff. And I went, he came back twice more. He gave 3 talks at in the Grand Rapids area, and a fabulous guy. The guy who, he, as a kid, he delivered newspapers to Billy Graham in they both grew up in North Carolina, the same place. And he really was a courageous, prophetic guy who was not afraid to think out of the box theologically. And if you look back over history, Meister Eckhart, Matthew Fox, I mean, we can go through any number of people that were booted out of, the mother church because they were too far off the, pale. But then, I mean, even Luther, they come back afterwards. Oh yeah, the guy was really great. He has great ideas and stuff. So oftentimes these people are prophets without honor until much later. But I love Spong's stuff. The one book I would recommend by him is Why Christianity Must Change or Die. That really, it's a, and his favorite thing is he talks about the Church Alumni Association, which means all the dropouts. It's what Bishop Barron talks about the nuns, but I suppose the nuns really have no background in religion. But the church alumni are people who got turned off to the church because they could not understand the deeper metaphysical parts of theology, and so everything in a literalistic way. And it looked like, poppycock after all. It looked like fairy tales. And, Sunday school was over, and, there was no true continuum of ongoing theological education to bring people in to see the deeper realities of what we believe.
Mhm.
So
did the gay idea break the church?
I'm sorry?
Did the gay point, that idea of being gay or not, as an Episcopalian, did that crack up the church, the Episcopalian church?
It didn't crack it up, but it divided it. But there were people ready for division. Some didn't like the new prayer book, It's like the ones who like the Latin Mass. I mean, they like the King James version of the Bible, Shakespeare. They didn't like that. They didn't like women getting ordained. They didn't like gays. And the gay thing sort of tipped the scales with the ordination of Bishop Gene Robinson in New Hampshire, who was openly, partnered and so on. But the bulk of the Episcopal Church didn't go that way. They're just these splinter groups, and they splintered off. And some of them don't even exist anymore. A few of them do.
Well, who left? Of course, to me, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy kind of thing. Who stayed?
Who stayed, or the people who were loyal to the doctrine, discipline, and worship of the Episcopal Church, the original denomination. And
Okay, the
we are very, I'm sorry,
conservative.
They were, it's a very
Orthodox,
liberal,
whatever it is.
yeah, denomination is very, very liberal.
Okay.
We're very Catholic, but we're Catholic liberal, and as opposed to Catholic conservative. I mean, it's like an oversimplification, but that's essentially where the bulk of the Episcopal Church in the United States is. And so anyway, Steve Spong was fearless. I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean, and he was afraid of nobody. And but the guy didn't go off half-cocked. I mean, he knew his Bible. He's unbelievable. He grew up in the South, and the fundamentalist background, so he knew his Bible, and he could really interpret it in a deeper rather than a literalistic fashion. And anything by him, it's just marvelous. I was totally converted after I read, those books. I was ready to go into that interview and say, this guy, they ought to burn him at the stake. I mean, some of his ideas are out to lunch.
Can you,
But, I mean,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could just interrupt because I'll forget if I don't.
Yeah,
What was the name of that book again that you mentioned?
okay, why Christianity must change or die.
Thank you.
If you Google John Shelby Spong, you'll find a whole list of his books. And he was one of the first ones that really spoke of the Jewishness of Jesus. He wrote a book entitled Our Hebrew Lord, I think it is, Our Hebrew Lord. So, I mean, I was sad to hear that. He passed away on the 12th, which was when my father passed away. So, yeah, interesting. But he was a real titan, a real hero.
The bigger question to me, as a Catholic or any denomination, what is wrong with anybody having some ideas, some wild theological ideas? Where are we going to go if somebody does have some thinking about the ascension? Is that so bad to think that maybe it wasn't a literal thing, or the assumption wasn't literal? Because we don't know what happened. We say it's a mystery. That's our cop out. But hell, that's to make this guy into a traitor or horrible person for having a thought. That really bothers. Well, I got over it.
Exactly. And it's an interesting thing. And I think studying him posthumously will be very interesting, how he will be remembered in history, in church history. I think he'll be right alongside Meister Eckhart. I did my doctoral work on Meister Eckhart and the Rhineland mystics, and he was
God is not love.
Yeah, exactly. And Eckhart was condemned a year after his death by a papal bull and stuff like that. So
right.
Anyhow, it's a shame that I think we can't, that the church can't contain theological thought. Like I just read something in one of the Catholic papers about the Catholic Biblical Society or something that they were, or the Catholic Theological Society, Tom, perhaps. They were, they were kind of railing against the idea that, they get clamped down on if they get too progressive in their thought, or, so I don't know. I think we need not fear.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up. It's a long answer to a short question, Bob.
Yeah, well, hopefully Pope Francis's successor will continue along the same line of opening. One pope in himself, even with his followers, can't quite do that. But you can if enough of the cardinals affirm that this level of non-condemnatory opening has merit, and elect somebody that will continue and develop that, that'll be a sure sign of the Holy Spirit in my mind.
Amen to that.
So I guess the doctors are kind of making sure that he doesn't die all at once, that they just remove a part here and a part there. He lost a lung early on, or part of a lung, and now he lost part of his colon. So
he's kind of the Energizer Bunny, though. He always bounces back, and I can't believe that he scheduled these trips so close to that surgery.
mm-hmm.
People are worried about it, but he thrives on sanctifying grace. There's just no question about it.
Yeah, very true. Here comes Kathy. So Kathy is making it.
We see a name.
We see a name and a little microphone with a red microphone with a line through it.
Exactly.
So welcome, Kathy, wherever you are behind that name. Unmute yourself.
Things seen and unseen.
Me? Are you asking me?
I'm asking you, yeah.
Okay. Yes, good morning. So
Morning.
good morning, everybody, and happy to be here, but I'm going to be here as a passive listener because I have to work while I'm listening. So I've got a deadline to meet today.
Uh-oh.
I'm behind.
Okay.
but I want to hear what people are saying. So I'm gonna unvideo myself and then I'm gonna mute myself so I won't be tempted to talk. And I'll
Oh.
just be, I'll listen.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Great to see
Okay.
you guys.
Good to
okay.
see you,
Good to
Kathy.
see you,
All right,
Okay.
Kathy, good to see you. Now, the thing is, I'm not too sure that on the view, I can cut Kathy off so that,
Yeah, I think it stays like that.
hide non-video participants there. Okay, now Kathy, you are still with us. You can hear us. And I guess you can see us, but we cannot see your place marker.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna really go off now. Thank you guys.
Okay,
Goodbye.
okay,
Bye.
God bless, bye-bye. Okay, so yeah, she is still there, but not, but now in our recording and in our Facebook presentation, which we will be going on in just a moment, she won't appear. So are we ready to go public?
No.
Are you still okay with launching from that article on basically letting go of people that whom loving doesn't seem to be successful,
Sounds good.
and see where we go from there? Okay. Then let me see what I can do about live on Facebook.
Meet you, Bob.
Yes.
Okay, we are now through on Facebook, and we are still the five of us going.
John, I wanted to say something to you. I
Yeah.
was so happy to hear that you knew about Spong. And I sat here for an hour saying, let's have lunch. And then I said, you drive.
Where do you live, Bob?
I'm at LAX.
Oh, okay. We can
Wow.
fly over.
So if
Hop
I
a
was younger,
plane,
I'd say,
Right.
it'd
hop
be
a
fine.
Southwest and come
I'll
over
see you
to,
out there at Palm Springs. That's fine.
Okay.
Now I go, I can't go that far.
get an Uber. It'll bankrupt you, but it's okay.
Well, whatever, or you can, take the rails.
Exactly.
There ain't no rail out here.
Bus, rail.
No,
Well,
there ain't no
yeah,
rail
what-
coming out to here.
Right, you'd have to get a rail into, or get a bus into San Bernardino, probably.
Yeah, who wants to do that with the Delta variant, you know?
True.
Well, yeah, well, get vaccinated.
We'll have lunch sometime, Bob.
Or you can meet halfway at Philippe's.
What? Where's that?
Philippe's, or most people, I think, say Philippe's. The
Okay.
French dip sandwich place across.
Oh,
well,
that's
across-
fun. I know that. Yeah, that's downtown. Well, that's downtown LA.
Yeah, well, that's right in the middle, sort of in the, or you can meet at
Kidding?
Walter.
It's not, it was near the middle.
Actually, Walter's would be about in the middle of the two of
Yeah,
you.
there you go. Claremont, sort of.
Walter, good.
By
Yeah,
the
Walter-
way,
I know Walter, yeah.
Susan,
I miss
how
Walter.
how was Nancy in the last couple of weeks?
I'm sorry. How's who?
Nancy, the owner, the Afghan.
I went into the restaurant. He was not there. I hear that he is doing okay. I made mention to the individuals at the restaurant that what prompted me, we haven't gone to a lot of restaurants,
Mhm.
but what prompted me to go I think on a Sunday morning was because I had read both his articles, and I hear he's doing okay.
Mhm. Yeah, good.
The restaurant definitely doing okay.
I actually purchased and read his memoirs. It's available on Amazon, which tells something of his life, and about half of it is devoted to, in the for I don't know how long he was, working with the U.S. government service agency back in Afghanistan. He decided to go back there, and it's quite an interesting picture that he paints of the work that the US government did, not always very successfully or rightly ordered, and also, his own work and his own relationship with his own people going back there. It was quite a welcome back, Bob.
Yeah, Bob,
So,
there's a bathroom break.
so I
Oh,
do.
no, I just felt
It's
like
the
walking
That
out.
detox.
Oh, yeah, he was detoxing, yeah.
I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go around the house.
We were talking about having lunch at Walters, and then it devolved into some biography that was written about that or whatever.
I had to go to the bathroom to think of the San Gorgonio Inn for you.
Okay. So anyway,
Walters would be a good place for you guys to meet. Yes.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
Walters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
have
the-
a parents in Ontario. Anyway, go ahead.
and of course they have their open air patio.
They do. It's big and it's beautiful, and they've taken over more spaces. So they've really enlarged that whole area.
Yeah, it's quite a story too as to how he started at Walters and how he developed it.
Hmm.
Yes.
And he does mention that the day of 9/11, that a group came to assure him of protection, and that there was the local Catholic priest was there. And I don't have a recollection of that, but it may be that I was
I
there.
think it was you,
Ah,
Father Tom. We went to an event. I recall, I believe you were there as well, at the mosque right there on Gary. They invited, I was
Right.
commissioner at the time,
Right.
and you were there, dressed us up, and they fed us, and it was just so wonderful and welcoming. You were there. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there a number of times at the mosque, but there right after 9/11, I do recall that.
Yep. It was very, very lovely of them.
And I think Joan invited a number of the women from that mosque to come to mass with her,
Oh,
and that was a good gesture also. So
now were you the person presiding at the mass when the Claremont Courier came and took photos from above and put it into the Courier? I know we were all holding hands at that mass that morning of 9/11. We all assembled at church. Were you the
Yeah.
presider that?
probably.
hmm.
Okay. I'm
uh,
guessing you were.
I don't really have much memory of that day other than it was the day that that renewal thing. What's his name? Tom Sweetser did the renewal program for the parish, and that was the day that they were going to give their report, and we were all in the room there, and on an old black and white TV, watched the fire and all of that, and then it became pretty obvious that we couldn't continue with that day and would have to postpone it because I would need to be out in the community. So, but I don't remember the specifics of where I was or what I did out in the community. But I think all of us in the interfaith group, Claremont Interfaith Council, were in touch almost immediately to discover what would be our response.
Right.
So anyway, shall we call it a day?
Yes, and I'm hoping we can touch down upon what we I don't believe touched down upon this time around, but this was still a very
We actually
wonderful.
did. I think we actually did launch with it. We
Yeah.
got sidetracked a little bit, but you know, my own
Well, then
my own particular response to that is fairly simple, that yes, in order to take care of anybody, we have to take care of ourselves. And you know, there's only a limited amount of swimming up a waterfall that you can do and maintain your health. And I think another observation is there is always a temptation to try to make somebody else who doesn't respond to us properly, however that may be, to make them your project.
don't want it.
And of course, that doesn't do anybody any good. But those were
Catholic guilt sometimes, that I don't want to call it Catholic guilt, but this sense of maybe I should try one more time, or is it bad if I don't try and protect myself and not want to reach out to be smacked possibly one more time, you know, whatever that smack might be. It all kind of a sense of, okay, it's enough now, you know, you've drawn that line, or should you possibly try to reach out one more time?
Mhm.
When you talk about this, Susan, if I may, when you talk about quotes Catholic guilt, it reminds me of a bumper sticker that was in the wording. Maybe Bob's seen this. The bumper sticker it was invented by Robin Williams of happy memory, and he said it had 3 lines on this bumper sticker. The first line said "Try Episcopal." Second line said "Catholic Light," L-I-T-E, Catholic Light. And the third line said 30% less guilt. I love it. That's Robin Williams humor.
Mhm.
I love it. I love it.
Well, you know,
Well, I
John,
can, I do call it Catholic guilt as well, right or wrong, I don't know, but I do call it that because I do the same thing. I keep, you know, I'm the one that, believe it or not, I know I'm very boisterous on here, but I usually keep my mouth shut. I don't say anything because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to, you know, test the water, and I let everybody else, you know, and I'm just want to like close my ears and say, oh my God, I don't want to hear, like I let everybody else talk their madness. And I don't say anything because I'm trying to keep that relationship where I know if I said something, they would do the complete opposite. They'd be like, we're not talking to her anymore. You know, so,
Yeah.
But with that, I will say something that, you know, you talk about signs, right? That signs that just pop up when you least expect them. And I was driving in the car the other day and I was frustrated and thinking I needed a detox, right, of myself. And as I'm driving down the road, and it was, believe it or not, we actually got a little bit of snow here last week. So the weather was not good. And there was a car, we were bumper to bumper traffic. There was a car right in front of me. And I think it said it all. I looked at it and it actually made me laugh. And I thought, that's perfect. And I was having a bad day and the weather was bad and I was stuck in traffic, but that just made it like all okay. And it was something simple and stupid. And basically what that was the car in front of me had 2 bumper stickers and with an arrow this way and an arrow this way. And it said clowns left, jokers right. You know, that the old song, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. And I thought, you know what? You're right. It's everywhere. I don't know if you can see it or not, but here's the car with the bumper sticker that I had to,
Okay.
you know, I know I wasn't supposed to be, I was actually stopped in traffic, so I was able to take it. But yeah, there's 2 arrows there and, you know, and I just thought, yeah, you know, it just kind of made me smile and made the whole day better. And I thought that was a good perspective to have.
we have to have humor. Humor is important. Laughter is important.
Yeah, I'm
Humor
gonna
is
have to sign
very
off,
important.
folks. I gotta sign
Yes.
off anyway, 'cause
Yeah, so
I gotta go. So
let's,
I'll see you
let's
next
us
week.
all sign off. And so God bless you all, and we'll see you next week, God willing.
Doc
Thank you.
Phobos.
That's one.
Thanks.
Doc
Bye-bye.
Phobos.